In this video, we're going to show you how to use the results features of the build a list function. Build a list is what allows you to input a set of criteria and return a list of prospects that match that particular criteria. So when you log into IndustrySelect, you'll land on my dashboard. As always, there's a quick link to the build a list function, and it's always up here in the top navigation as well. So go ahead and click on either one of those to get into the build a list function. I'm working with the national database, so you'll notice I have a count of nearly 400,000 companies that are in the database in total. I'm going to enter a simple piece of criteria here just to show you how we get to the search results. I'm going to go ahead and type in Chicago, Illinois. Go ahead and click on that. And you'll notice the count has dropped to about 2,700 companies. Remember, I can always click on this count in the upper right, or I can click on My List in the left navigation. Either one of those takes me to the same place, which is the search results pane. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And here are my 2,734 companies. And what I want to point out from this screen is, first and foremost, this is the results set, and you can scan through this and peruse all the different companies that match your criteria. You can scroll through that page by page. You can change how many appear per page at any point if you want to view more on a page. 10 per page is a nice default because you can look at it without having to scroll. And of course, you can sort by any one of these columns. If you want to sort by employment size, SIC code, and click on it twice to sort it descending. So I'm going to leave it sorted by company name. And one of the functions I want to show you right here in the results pane is this feature called exclude. And if you were to check the box next to any one of these companies, it'll automatically exclude those companies from any reports or labels that you may print or any export functions. So for example, let's say 2020 Exhibits is already a customer of mine. I don't want to include them in my prospecting activity, so I can go ahead and click on that check mark, and you'll notice it's graded out here and put a line through it to let me know that even though that company matches the criteria, it's not going to be included in any of the functionality from this point forward in terms of exporting or printing. Now, let's say you have a list of customers and you don't want to go through here and cherry pick each one of them. There's a feature called bulk exclude, and when you click on this, it brings up a window that allows you to bulk exclude a list of up to 8,000 phone numbers at a time. So if you have more than 8,000, you could do this as many times as you needed, but the primary purpose of this is simply to allow you to paste in a list of phone numbers of, in this case, for example, customers maybe that you already have, and it'll automatically go through and exclude all those companies. It doesn't have to be customers. I'm using that as an example. It could be any reason why you have a list of companies that you don't want to include in this particular output, and maybe it's just a prior list that you already ran and you want to exclude it from this one. You can just dump in a list of phone numbers, one per line, in any format that's shown here, and the system will automatically exclude those companies from the search results. The Browse All Company Profiles feature allows you to simply go through and peruse every one of the 2,700 companies that are in the search results one at a time. You'll notice there's a previous and a next arrow up here at the top, and you can simply just scan through. Obviously, this is a more useful feature if you have a smaller search results set. It would take you forever otherwise to get through all 2,700 companies, but that is an option there for you. Print summary report. This is a quick report that you can print, which is great for telemarketing or other quick prospecting, that allows you to put 10 companies on one page. I'm working with Chrome here, so it's automatically going to a preview of what it's going to look like when it prints. But essentially what's going to happen is there's going to be 10 companies per page, and it's going to give you basic information: the company name, the address, their phone number, email, website, number of employees, annual sales, and their primary SIC code. And then the last line gives you their product description as we have it in our database. So again, this is just a quick report. It's going to put, again, 10 on a page, and it's going to allow you to use that as a quick reference for these particular companies without going into too much detail. As always, you can sort it any way that you want, and for the sake of simplicity, we print it in batches. So you can print 250 pages at a time, and there's 10 companies per page. So you essentially can print 2,500 companies per batch, and that just makes it easier for you using your printer to have to refill paper and that sort of thing. The next one is a detail report. And again, I'm in Chrome here, so this is going to try to pop up right to the print preview. But essentially the difference between this and the quick report is just that the detail report puts one per page. So as you scroll through, it's going to put one company profile on each page. It'll always start a new page for the next company, so you'll never have any companies that carry over between multiple pages. And again, you can sort in any way that you desire, and this will also let you print in batches of 250 pages. But remember, now there's only one company per page, so you're only going to get 250 companies per batch, which explains why there's more batches in this particular report than in the summary report. The other thing we can do is we can print address labels. For example, let's say we want to do a mailing, and we want to just print it on Avery labels and stick the labels right to the envelope. We choose how we want to sort. We choose the label, and we've put right in here, built in, the 3 most popular Avery mailing labels that we can use. And once you select the label, you'll be able to select an attention line. You can either choose a specific executive, or you can enter free text. So for example, I want the finance person, I can do that. Or let's say I just want to type, attention marketing manager, and I don't want to have a specific name. I can do that as well. Either case, it will allow you to put that information directly on the label. And what this does is it creates a PDF file that you then save to your desktop, and when you open it for printing, it will automatically align the text to fit within the blocks of the labels. And this gives you some important tips here on how to print them properly, so I would recommend reading that before you do that. But very quickly, I'm just going to click on it just to show you what this PDF looks like. You'll see we have all the addresses, and had the labels been in the printer, this would line up to fit perfectly. And then the last thing you can do from the results pane is to export company profiles. And you can only do this if there's 10,000 or fewer companies in your search results. So if you have more than 10,000 companies, you're just going to want to break it up into multiple searches. But in this case, again, you can choose how you want to sort it. You can choose your file type, Excel or text, raw text file. And you have a couple options in terms of how you want to export the executives. You can have 1 record per company, and that gives you up to 10 executives in that 1 record. Or you can do 1 record per executive. So if the company has, for example, 15 executives, it would actually repeat that company information 15 times with a different executive in each row. And you'll notice the little question marks. That gives you more detailed information than what I'm providing here. So you'll probably want to hover your mouse over these question marks and get some extra information. But the most popular one is 1 record per company. If you want to do 1 record per executive, you can do as I just explained with all the executives, or you could select a single executive, let's say finance. And this would be the case if you were doing a mailing and you wanted to just target the head of finance. You could choose 1 record per executive with just 1 executive in the finance function. And when I click on export list, it builds the file in real time, and you can download that immediately just by right-clicking it. I'm in Chrome browser here, so it pops right up. When I click on that, it loads into Excel, and you'll notice there's all our information right within Excel that we can now use directly within another program. And the headers on each column are pretty descriptive in terms of what's in that particular column, and we'll commit to keeping those at a steady value. We won't change them over time. So if you are working with another piece of software and you program those as your column headers, you don't have to worry about us changing them. The very last thing I just want to point out is you can save this criteria if you want to use it at a later date. And then you can always come back right to here and load previously saved criteria. And at any point, if I click the garbage can, that will clear all of my criteria and start over. And the last thing I want to point out is there is a function in here that shows you additional companies that may match your criteria but are outside of your active databases. And this will always just show you for all the criteria you've entered, whether that's all the companies in our database or whether there are other companies that potentially match your criteria but perhaps are outside the limits of your subscription. And if this is the case and you want to access those companies, to please contact us, and we'll be happy to look at your criteria and find out who those other companies are and give you an alternate subscription to be able to access them.